We're live in Facebook group. Live in Facebook group. Audio is on. We're live in Kingdom REI Academy Facebook group. Today is July 18th. Today we're going to go over how to sell all your deals. So we're doing something, do some updates today, what's going on. And if you're just joining the Facebook group, make sure you get in Kingdom REI Academy if you're in the membership area. And then all our training feature section or the guide section, the older one. So we have your number. So we're going to get started here in a minute. So I put the Zoom in the Facebook group. So if you guys want to connect on Zoom one-on-one to chat with me, that would be cool too. You can join on the Zoom, or you can just comment in the Facebook group, or put your comments there. I can answer your questions. So if you ever have any questions and you're stuck on anything, just reach out. If you never reach out, we're going to assume that you're have no issues and everything's good. So reach out via call, text, email. If you need to share your screen, you can do a Zoom call as well. So either way, our goal is to partner with you, close deals with you. If you are interested in building a team under our program, you can send them to KingdomREIacademy.info. If you are interested in building a team under our program, send them there and they can go through all the training on what it involves in our 5-author system. So I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. So let me know in any way how I can help you. If you're stuck, let me help you get unstuck. If you're not sure what to do, that's what I'm here for, to help you out. We show you basically, how to get unlimited leads, how to get pretty much unstuck. So today we're going to talk about how to sell deals nationwide. So the goal is to so once you have a deal under contract, how do you sell the deal, right? So we're gonna go over that in detail. And we are doing something, updating our program. Like if you do, we're making it optional to partner with us. So the reason being is because I'm trying to eventually help more people, remove myself from the business, because everyone that joins that is a partner, I try to help them as much as possible. So we're making it optional to partner with us. So if you are, a member, you don't have, and you have all our systems and tools and you're paying, it is optional to partner with us. If you have, if you're, maybe you close some deals and you're not paying the monthly fee, we do require a partnership on that since you're not paying. And if you need help, analyzing, you need help with the hand holding, you need help analyzing the deals, you need help walking through the deals. That's when we ask for splitting the profits and we become your partner on the deals. But if you're someone that doesn't need help, you can just go through the training and use all the systems and tools. Then guess what? You don't have to partner with us and split the deals 50-50. So that's what we're doing now, is this, it is an update that I'm going to add to the entire program of the training. But we're going to talk about how to sell your deals nationwide. So basically how we're selling deals nationwide and how you can do it too. So we're going to talk about how to sell wholesale deals, how to profit on the sandwich rent to own, how to profit on the wholesale rent to own, straight options, and then Airbnb. We're going to kind of go over that during this training. So if you have a deal under contract, so this is basically how we disposition deals, how we sell deals. So you guys all you should have access to PropWire. So find all the buyers, we're going to simply go to PropWire, right? So you're going to go to propwire.com, and then you're going to you're going to get all the buyers overnight. And this is nationwide. You can get all the investor buyers nationwide pretty much in seconds at your fingertips. So what you want to do is go to I like going to absentee owners, because if you just do cash buyers, and you're missing out on buyers that bought it with like hard money loans or private loans. So I do absentee owners, and then I pick the area. So if I go to Chicago, Illinois, the city or the zip code, and then so if I have a deal under contract, I'm trying to wholesale it. This is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to go to the city. You're going to go to absentee owners, and then I would filter years of ownership, maximum 1 year. So they bought the property within the last year, right? So they're recent cash buyers. So you don't want buyers that bought 30 years ago. You want to buy. So you look at that 16,000 investor buyers in the last 1 year in Chicago. So that's a lot, right? So how do you narrow that down? Maybe it's too large. You want to go by zip code. So I'm gonna go by zip code, and boom, I got 203. So if my property I'm trying to wholesale is in this zip code, I got all the investor buyers that bought cash, that got a loan, 203. So I'm simply gonna select all, download this. You're gonna get all the leads. Of course, there's not gonna be any phone numbers. So what you're gonna do is use the bulk skip tracer or use True People Search for free. And you can sell deals nationwide for free. You don't have to pay anything. I'm gonna show you each one how to do it for free. So you're either gonna pay the bulk skip tracer that we use on Fiverr. So you pay him 3.5 cents to get the leads. They'll get the emails and the phone numbers. So once you have the emails and phone numbers, once you have a deal under contract you're trying to sell in that area, you're going to call all the buyers and text them, leave them voice messages, and then send them an email with the deal, right? So it's pretty simple. And then you're going to let me see, I was going to go show you the bulk skip tracer. You're going to use Fiverr for the bulk skip tracing. We have one guy that we use that's pretty great. We use him a lot. He does the bulk skip tracing, 3.5 cents a lead, so it's really cheap. So you're just gonna pay maybe $20 for 500 leads. So it's really cheap to skip trace it fast. Or you can do one by one for free, truepeoplesearch.com. We go over a lot of that in the training how to do that. And then you go to realtor.com. So realtor.com is all the realtors in the area. So you're going to get all the cash buyers, investors. You're going to get all the investors that bought a property with a loan. You're going to get all the realtors in the area. So you simply go find realtors, and then you just go to the zip code. You basically just find realtors and then go to the zip code, type in the zip code that you're looking for realtor. And it's going to give you all the realtors in that zip code. And guess what? Realtors have what? They have buyers, right? So if you're trying to sell a deal, you can see, I want realtors that work with buyers, right? And it's going to pull up all the realtors in the area. For some reason, they're at 30,000. So 8,650. So that's a lot of realtors. So usually it lets you sort by zip code. Let's just sort by zip code. So if you do by zip code, it should be a lot smaller. You see that 591. So these 591 realtors, we're going to get, right here, you got their phone numbers, and you can get their email here as well. So you got your phone, you got the email. I think you got to Google search their email to find their email, or just put the email right here. Put your message with the deal, see if they have a buyer, and then give them a call. Leave a message, send a text. And then you have all the landlords, Zillow. So if you have a deal under contract, a wholesale deal, so you're gonna get all the realtors, all the landlords, all the cash buyers, all the investors that got a loan in that zip code in that neighborhood, and then you're gonna basically call them with the deal, text them with the deal, email them the deal that you have, right? So this is, and pretty much like overnight, you can have all the investors on your, you can have all the investors on your list, right? So we're looking for landlords now. So we just go to for all you do is go to for rent section. You type in the zip code where you're looking for landlords. Then you'll have all the landlords, right? So of course, landlords are probably looking for more properties that they can cash flow. So landlords may be buying more deals. So find all the landlords. So if you get all the landlords, all the realtors, all the cash buyers, all the buyers that got a loan in that area, and you send them the deal, guess what? You know, if the deal doesn't sell, then you probably, your deal's probably too high, right? So this is how we're selling deals nationwide. Like I can just go to, say, someone can send me a deal in California, right? And I can simply just do this, what I showed you in California. I'm gonna go to PropWire, get all the cash buyers, after all the buyers that got loans. I'm gonna go to realtor.com, get all the realtors, and then I'm gonna go to Zillow and get all the landlords in the area, and I'm gonna text them the deal, call them, leave them a voice message with the deal, and then send them all an email with the deal. And and you can automate the texting via we use campaigns with creative REI reply. If you want to do that, with us, we need at least 2,500 numbers a month. Will cost 2,500 contacts a month, will cost you about 97 a month with us. Or you can do it free with Google Voice. Send voice messages. We use creative reply to leave voice messages to the buyers as well, or do it free with Google Voice. Send emails. We use ClickFunnels to send the bulk emails, or use it free, or do it free using Gmail. So to contact all the leads that you're going to get, I would call them, leave a message, text them with the deal, and then you're going to email them the deal, all three. Do it all three ways, and then you're going to get people. Of course, if you got all the realtors, cash buyer, investors, landlords in the area, and it's a good deal, you're going to sell it. You're going to sell it fast, right? You can do all this for free, and you can sell deals anywhere. So if someone comes across your table and they have a deal in Texas, don't say, "Oh, I don't do Texas." Say, "Yeah, I got buyers there." But you can literally get all the buyers' emails, cell phone numbers, pretty much in a couple of days. So once you have a buyer, you send them a contract to sign, get earnest money to the title company, you get their attorney's contact info. So once you have a buyer for a deal, you gotta have them sign the contract and move forward, have them send earnest money to the closing title company, and get their attorney's contact info for closing. So those are the three things you need to once you have a buyer secured, right? So to sell wholesale deals nationwide, this is basically the process, right? And like I said, if you can't sell the deal after you do this, it's probably not a good deal in the first place. We also do post the deals like in local Facebook groups. So if it's in Chicago, we'll join all the Chicago Facebook groups and post the deals there. We'll post a deal in Facebook Marketplace. We'll post a deal on Craigslist. We'll post a deal on in the local markets like Craigslist. We'll choose like whatever market it's in. We're gonna post it in that market, right? So if you can't sell it after that, then the deal is probably too high, or there's no buyers in that area, right? So how to sell your sandwich rent to own deals? You're basically looking for a rent to own buyer that's gonna pay you retail. So once you have a sandwich rent to own deal, you have options. You can sell it to another rent to own buyer that you stay in the middle of the deal. You can just sell the property, put it on the MLS, or you can turn it into an Airbnb, right? And if you guys know, we do a lot of Airbnbs, and of course, if you do an Airbnb, you got to furnish it. You got to put up the money to get the furniture in and stage it. And if you are if you do have a great Airbnb and you want to partner with us, we'll be willing to put up the furniture money as long as we get paid back on the first reservations and at least sign an agreement for at least a year. So if you're trying to do a sandwich rent to own, you're finding a rent to own buyer. So let's say you got a rent to own contract signed. Now what do, right? So the next thing is you're trying to find a rent to own buyer. So you're going to be try to find out where renters are looking. So they'll be looking in the for rent sections. So what you want to do is post in all the for rent sections. Zillow.com for rent, Facebook Marketplace for rent, Facebook groups post a deal, Craigslist.com for rent. You want to post, you can even post it in the for sale sections as well, because it is a rent to own, so we are selling the deal. So you can post it in the same Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, Craigslist, and then the same thing as the wholesale deal. You can get all the realtors in that market. You just go to realtor.com, type in the zip code or the city where that property is located, get all the realtors in that market, and then send them the rent to own deal and see if they have a buyer, right? Other ways of marketing, trying to find a rent to own buyer. We have bandit signs. This is more of a paid. You got to pay for signs and put them up and pay someone to do it for you. Then you can do paid Facebook market advertising. So these are two paid ways that we do if we're having a tough time selling it. But rent to own deals, you do want to check title. You can go on you do want to check title before you, like, especially if you're staying in the middle of a deal. You want to get a title commitment. You're not paying for any title insurance. Just get a title commitment. Make sure that it's clear, that there's no liens above what you're getting it for. And you do want to record your sandwich rent to own on title. So once you have a sandwich rent to own, you're staying in the middle of the deal. And the reason you're staying in the middle of sandwich rent to own is because there's equity and there's cash flow. And you want to record that on title. So if the owner ever tries to refinance it above your sales price, they're gonna see your agreement on title. Where the owner tries to sell it without you knowing, they'll see your agreement on title, so they can't do that, right? So once you have a rent to own buyer, you have the buyer sign a rent to own contract, you collect the down payment, then you hand over the keys to the tenant buyer. Other options, if you have a sandwich rent to own, again, are you can turn it into an Airbnb, but you have to pay for the furniture cost to furnish it, and then turn around and just throw it on Airbnb and cash flow it. Or you can list the property on the MLS for sale. You can use us to list it in Illinois, or there's a company called, if you're not in Illinois, Broker Less. So Broker Less is a nationwide company, and they are we use them to list properties on the MLS nationwide. And they know wholesaling, they know straight options, they know how all that works. And they actually have title companies and attorneys in all the different states nationwide that can close the transactions. So we use Broker List to list the property. So you can list your straight options, you can list your sandwich rent to owns if you want. If you're but if your deal is in Illinois, we can list it for you, so you don't have to go through them. But Broker Less is pretty awesome. We've done quite a few deals with them. They'll list the straight option agreement, they'll list the the deals. So let's say that you have a wholesale deal, you did all of this, you did PropWire, Realtor, Zillow, and you posted it everywhere, and you can't sell the deal, right? So in that situation, what we do is we go back to the owner and we say, hey, listen, we try to get the owner down on the price, of course, to make it work. But if we can't get him down, we'll approach the owner and say, hey, It doesn't work for a wholesale because maybe they need more work than expected. So what we could do to still help you is we can list the property on the market for you. So in Illinois, of course, you can list it with us. We're realtors. Um, if it's in a different state, say you're in Florida or something, you can go here to broker less and then turn it into a listing, right? Where you put it on the market, get it straight. So once you turn your wholesale deal you can't sell, you're going to turn it into what is called a straight option. Straight option is we use it to list properties. It's just basically an option agreement, an option to purchase, and we list our option agreement with broker less. But in Illinois, we just list it ourselves. So if you're a realtor, you can just list straight options. You can just list the property yourself, add your commission on top of what you agreed to with the owner. Illinois, again, you can use us to list your deal. Nationwide, again, you can use broker less. And they can list it for you. Again, they have title companies nationwide, attorneys nationwide. They can list the wholesale deals. They can list straight options. They can list your rent to own deals. Of course, before you list any property on the MLS, the owner has to give permission for the listing to happen. So, the owner does have to agree and allow you to list it. Okay. So, how to sell, other ways to sell a straight option. We use a uh, uh, straight option agreement again when we can't get the owner down on the wholesale price to make it work. So we have to give them more of a retail offer, and then we list it. Or we try to wholesale it, the wholesale didn't work, so we turn around and change it into a straight option, and then we list it. So you're going to use that when you want to put it on the market. And you can post it for sale sections on Zillow, post it for sale on Facebook Marketplace, post it for sale in Facebook groups, post it for sale on Craigslist. If you want to, you can put for sale signs in the front of the house, around the building, for sale signs as well. And then going back to the how to sell sandwich rent to own. So the other offer we have in our 5 offer system is the wholesale rent to own. So same thing, you're going to do the same exact process here to sell a wholesale rent to own. So wholesale rent to own is when you're just getting the down payment from the tenant buyer, and your only profit is the down payment. Whereas a sandwich rent to own, you have some sort of equity. So maybe you negotiated 50 grand of equity. Maybe there's some cash flow there where you can make like 500 to $1,000 a month. So you want to stay in the middle of that deal so you can cash out on your equity and even cash flow the home. Whereas a wholesale rent to own, you're just assigning your contract for a fee. So in that situation, you're doing the same process here. So you're looking for a tenant buyer in the for rent sections on Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. You can post it in for sale sections as well, since it's a rent to own. And then reach out to all the realtors in the neighborhood using realtor.com. And again, you can use bandit signs and Facebook market advertising, which are going to be paid ways to do it. Rent to own deals. The wholesale, you're not going to record your option on title because you're just assigning it for your fee. So a wholesale rent to own, you're just going to assign it for a down payment and you're going to walk away. So for example, let's say that you agreed to give the owner 5,000 down payment for the rent to own, and then the tenant buyer comes in with $15,000 down payment. So you're going to create that spread. You're going to make $10,000 down, and then you assign the contract, and now you're out of the deal, right? And so you don't have to record it, record your option, because you're not staying in the middle of that deal, right? So to close this deal, basically you meet with the buyer. The buyer will have to sign a rent to own contract, and the buyer will have to give a cashier's check for the down payment, and we can hand over the keys to the tenant buyer after we receive that, right? And then the 5th one is the Airbnb. Airbnb management is the 5th offer. We can manage the Airbnb for you. If you want to partner with us, we split profits on that. So if you close the deal, you get the owner to agree and sign. You can send it to us and we manage it for you, so you don't have to do any of that. But what you do need, if you wanted to do it on your own, you definitely need cleaners, which you can get from TaskRabbit.com. You definitely need a handyman just in case any repairs need to be made, and you can get that from TaskRabbit.com, which are both nationwide. And you also need pricing softwares. We use Price Labs. So pricelabs.com, it changes the prices, and you need a pricing software to maximize revenue. And then AI software for communication that automates the communication with guests. We use hospitable.com. So these are 4 things you need, and if you want to manage the Airbnb yourself, right? And if you do have a deal like an Airbnb deal, I've done quite a few already where I put the money up front, and you want to partner with us, I'll pay for the furniture costs up front if the deal makes sense. And then the homeowner just has to agree to pay me back for the first reservation. So if I invest 10 grand in furniture costs to furnish the home, the first 10 grand coming in go directly to me. And then after that, then we do the profit split. And then we get at least a 12-month agreement. So a lot of these management deals we're getting 25% of total revenue, sometimes 30%, sometimes 20%. And you can negotiate these however you want. You can say the owner gets the first 2,000, anything after that, we split 50-50. So you can be flexible with the owner and to get these deals, right? And what's good with us, if you allow us to manage it for you, you don't have to do the management end of it, right? And it is a lot of work. And we have a whole team of VAs, cleaners, handymen that we work with, and we outsource everything, right? So how to profit at Airbnb management is basically you got to get it in Airbnb and on it, and you have to have this team of the cleaners and the handyman are going to be your eyes on the ground, and then the communication should be automated using Hospitable. It's not that hard to use. And then pricing softwares, we use Price Labs. And I have a ton of training on it. I go into the different softwares, and I go into TaskRabbit and Hospitable that you can see. If you go into the guide section or features section in this Facebook group, you can just go to, I went over step by step how we close an Airbnb deal, go through that. And then same thing with all the other offers: sandwich rent to own, wholesale rent to own, straight options, wholesale. You can see all that in the replays. We have over 120 plus replays of training for the past like 4 years, so you can check that out. I can deep dive it, but this training is more so, hey, when I get an owner to say yes to one of the 5 different offers, how do I profit the deal, right? So how do I find a buyer, right? So you need to learn how to find a buyer for your wholesale deals using this process. If you have a rent to own deal, you're going to use the process here that we laid out. And if you have straight options, and you're not in Illinois, use Brokerless. Brokerless is a great company that is working with creative people doing straight options, doing wholesaling. Even if you have a rent to own, you can list your rent to own for sale on the MLS, right? So if anyone has any questions, I know I went over a lot in a short time frame, but this is basically how to disposition your deal. So you get an owner to agree to one of your 5 different offers, and now you got to turn around and then make a profit, right? So this is how to do that in this training today. And again, we are making the partnership optional, but if you are someone that needs the hand holding and need help analyzing the deal before you sign it, we do ask for a partnership on those deals. But if you're someone that you're using our systems and tools and you don't need the hand holding and someone looking over the deal and making sure they're good, then you can sell the deal on your own. Just use today's training, use today's training to go step by step on how I can sell the deal, right? And again, you have access at your fingertips to all the cash buyers nationwide, all the realtors, landlords nationwide. So any deal that crosses your table, you should be able to make an offer on with confidence because you have all the buyers in your pocket, right? You have all the cash buyers. You can get their cell phones and their emails literally in 24 hours, right? Overnight. Like it's just crazy the technology that we have today of being able to, like, I can just go to, for example, we did a deal in the South Carolina. We never did a deal there before, and then in 24 hours I literally had like 10,000 emails, cash buyers, realtors, landlords. I had their cell phones and their emails, and I sent them the deal in 24 hours. Sent them a text with the deal, sent them a voicemail with it, sent them an email with the deal, and was able to sell the deal, and in a couple of weeks make a $10,000 assignment fee in an area where I had no buyers. I didn't have any buyer emails. I didn't have any buyer cell phones. I didn't have any buyers at all, right? So overnight you can have 10,000, 20,000 buyers on your email list in any city nationwide. So that should you know that should motivate you with confidence to be making offers every day. Like, yeah, I got buyers. If someone asks you, like, yeah, you have investors in the area, you should always say yes, because you saw this training today. You should always say yes. Of course, I have investors in that area. So with confidence, you can make your offers now because like, hey, I can literally get the buyers overnight in any area, right? So my number. If you have any questions, call, text, or email me, and we're going to get through some biblical teachings on business and leadership in your business. So we're talking about today. This is from the Maxwell Leadership Bible. So 2 Samuel 12:9, talking about secure leadership. This is when a prophet named Nathan was confronting King David, who committed adultery and committed murder. So the prophet David in 2 Samuel 12:9 was saying, "Why did you despise the word of the Lord? By doing what is evil in his eyes, you struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword. You took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Ammonites." So King David committed adultery with Bathsheba. He also committed murder by murdering her husband, by sending him to war and putting him in the front lines, knowing that he will get killed. And guess what? God forgave David, and he went on to become a great leader, right? So no matter what you've done in your past, you can turn it around at any time. Because David came to repentance. He turned from his sins and he repented, right? And he asked God for forgiveness. So anytime you can turn it around. Doesn't matter what you did. If you even did something as bad as David, where you murdered somebody, right? Guess what? Today you can turn it around. Just ask God for forgiveness and repent and turn from that, and God will forgive you, and God will restore his relationship with you, right? Security provides a foundation for strong leadership. When we feel insecure, we drift from our mission whenever trouble arises. So when we're not sure about, hey, is this right, or is this business right, or should I do that business or this thing, you're always going to bounce around when you're not sure, right? So when you're not sure if this business is the right option or that business, or you're always going to be jumping around. So it's not until you like are for sure submitted and committed, and that's when you're to be secure. Is when, like, I know for sure God gave me this vision of having a real estate business that's going to be successful. God gave that to me. That's going to be, it's going to be debt free. It's going to be cash flowing. So once you have a vision and from God and a plan from God, and you know that it was from God, it makes you secure, right? It makes you like, hey, and it makes you not drift from thing to thing to thing, right? And I see that that's like the biggest problem, and that's the biggest problem with people in this business is they just go from thing to thing, from course to course, from system to system, from tool to tool, thinking this is going to be the one, right? When they never commit to anything. So we must feel secure when people stop liking us, when finances are low, when morale drips, or when others reject us, especially in this business. Is like we're always gonna have people rejecting us, rejecting our offers, maybe yelling at us, maybe being upset at us. So it's always this business is a roller coaster. So we need to figure out what's our vision, where we're going, what does God want us to do, and we need to commit to it, right? And go all in. If we do not feel secure, fear will cause us to sabotage our leadership. So if you don't feel secure in where you're going and what you're doing, what you're committed to, so if you have that mindset, hell, I'm just going to give this a shot. I'm going to give this a try and see if this works. And you're just dabbling in it to see if it works. Then you're not secure. You're going to give up, right? Like you're going to see, oh, I'm going to call 100 people, and if no one takes my offer, I'm going to give up, right? Like for me, it took me like 6 months to close my first deal, thousands of calls, I think about 110 plus offers direct to seller. I met probably 30 sellers at their home, and I didn't get a deal until 6 months later, right? And why was I persistent? Because I knew that this was it. Like this is like the business I want to be in. This is what I like doing. This is what I wanted to do, is what I wanted to commit to, right? And imagine what might have happened to the prophet Nathan if he lacked security. So the prophet Nathan, when he went up to King David, he knew that God told him that, what to say, right? He knew that it was from God. So he was secure in what he was saying to King David, right? King David covered everything up so no one else knew what happened. And David was very popular. He led Israel to prominence among nations. Most Israelites would sided with David if he put up a fight. And let's say that he rejected that. He lied and said, no, I never did that. Guess what? Most of the Israelites would have sided with him and not the prophet Nathan, right? And then last point, David set up a man to be killed in battle, which was Bathsheba's husband, Uriah. But it was not David's spear or his sword that took Uriah's life. It was the enemies, right? But David put him there, right? So he could have just said, yeah, it wasn't me, right? So the prophet Nathan had to feel utterly secure in his plan to confront him, or it would backfire, right? So when you have a vision and a plan from God, and he told you something that you should do, you should be 100% secure to move forward with boldness and courage, right? So when God gives you a vision and a plan, go do it ASAP, right? Do it right away. Don't wait, right? Like this business is, when God gave me a plan for this business, it was like, yeah, I wanted to be at that point where I was debt free. I had enough cash flow where I didn't have to work anymore. I have enough cash flow where I can do what I want, go where I want. I can go on vacation for a month, and I can work maybe a few minutes a day. I don't have to work that much, right? So whatever God's plan and vision gives you, do it ASAP, right? And in this business, you could we teach our 5 offer system on how you can flip as many houses as you want. You can cash flow as many houses as you want. So, my vision for you and plan is like, hey, start today, and in 12 months from now, hopefully you got at least 10, 12 cash flowing Airbnbs, whether that's from Airbnb management deals or whether that's from sandwich rent to own deals, and you turned around and Airbnb'd it. Again, you can use our money to furnish it, so you don't have to come out of pocket, right? So if the deal makes sense. So 12 months from now, boom, you have 10 cash flowing Airbnbs. Each of them are making 500 to $1,000 a month. You're making 5,000 to 10,000 a month in cash flow every single month, whether you work or not, because you have a team that has you outsource everything to. And now you're able to quit your job, replace your income, and you can now do what you really love to do, right? Do what you love to do. And that's the thing, is that we want the freedom so that we can do what we love to do, right? And what do you love doing? Maybe it's, spending more time with your family, your kids, spending more time with your wife, spending more time with your parents, spending more time, serving your church, spending more time trying to be a blessing to other people, right? It's hard to be a blessing when we don't have any time, right? So if we're working so much and we don't have any time to be a blessing, it's hard, right? So what can you learn from experiences that you have had with secure leaders and insecure leaders? So insecure leaders are going to jump. They're going to jump ship from thing to thing, from process to process, from this job to that job. Insecure leaders are always going to be changing. They're never going to be solid. They're never going to have a foundation. They're never going to know where they're going. They're always going to have a different goal, a different dream, a different vision, right? Where secure leaders, where we get, we should be getting our vision and our plan from God, what he wants us to do. We're secure. We know where we're going, right? We know what God has put in our hearts, and we're secure. We're never going to be shaken. No matter what's going on in our business, we're never going to be shaken, right? No matter, like for me, I had a point where I was in 10 million in debt and I couldn't pay it. Right, I couldn't pay it. So that right there should have collapsed me, but I was able to pay off the 10 million in debt, and I was able to do that using our 5 offer system that we have, and I'm still doing the same thing I did, when I started this 14 years ago. We're still doing the same thing. We're still doing wholesaling. We're still doing rent to owns and Airbnbs and all that, right? And once God gives you a vision and a plan, commit to it, go all in. Stop listening to other things and other people, because once you're secure, you have your vision, your plan, your goals from God, and you what you want to do is, pray about it. Say, God, just give me the strength, the courage, the boldness, the focus, the wisdom, the knowledge, the revelation that I need to fulfill this plan that you have put in my heart, right? So once write down your goals, write down your vision, put it on paper, right? Put it on paper, and then bring it to God and say, hey, God, this is my goal, this is my vision, this is what I want to do. This is, you know, show me the way, show me how to get there, show me the steps. And God's going to reveal the steps. He's going to say, hey, son, step one, do this, step two, do, and and I give all the glory to God for all his blessings. It was not me that paid off the 10 million in debt. It was God. God did that for me. Right. So we're gonna end here and in prayers. Want to thank God for all his blessings. Thank God for just providing us just ways to connect on the internet and computers, and in this world that we live in. Just being in the United States, we're looked to as the rest of the world, as some of the richest people in the world, just because we live here. And we're just blessed to be here, to have electricity and running water and food every day and clothes on our back and a roof over our head. And we're blessed to have our families and our friends and our churches. So we just ask God for the vision, for the goals, for the plans, that you put it in our hearts and our minds, where we should commit to our lives, where we should commit to our businesses, where we should commit to our relationships, everything we do, Father. And we just ask for the strength, the boldness, the energy, the courage, the wisdom, the knowledge, the revelation. And we ask that you come into our businesses, our finances, our incomes, and just pay off all of our debts and increase us 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, so that we can turn around and be a blessing to our friends, a blessing to our families, a blessing to our neighbors, a blessing to our churches, a blessing to everyone around us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So God bless. We'll see you next week. So hope you got a lot out of today. So hey, go what you can start doing today as well is go to this training again. And this is not this for next week. Go to this training again and just start going on Facebook groups, and you see people have posting deals there. reach out to them and tell them what, hey, I got buyers ready to buy, right? Boom, and they make offers. So just go to Facebook groups, go to the local market that you're in, and there's probably 30, 40, 50 deals already posted in there. You can reach out to everyone that posted the deal and just let them know, hey, you got investors looking to buy deals. Let's go back to this training, and then you have all the investors in your back pocket. Right. So God bless. We'll see you next week. We'll be back here live. And if you guys have any feedback, any feedback at all, or reach out to me, any questions, reach out.